And with that, we took a look at the water planes project. It's kind of cool. It gives us 3 little examples of how we can do some simulated water effects using materials and simple planes. The ocean one is nice because we get to see how the seafoam works and tessellation and world position offset. Translucent water is kind of cool because we get to see below the surface and we get a nice smooth shore effect. And then our lake water is nice because it gives us that random variation. And we are able to see 3 really easy ways of adjusting those materials in order to give us a variation. Now, one additional thing I wanted to point out is these work good on all devices, including mobile. However, out of the box, you're going to have a problem with mobile. So here is our translucent water. If we go ahead and we go up to the preview settings, and now I'm previewing in Android ES 3.1 or mobile, we'll notice our material no longer shows up. And how do we fix this? Well, the nice thing is the engine has some great debugging and hint tools to show us how. I'm going to go into the material itself, and if we go ahead and compile it and save it, well, we don't have any issues. That's because we don't have the errors or the output logs or the shader stats showing up. So if we turn on stats and platform stats from the top, and then we change our settings for our platform stats to show us our Android, we're going to find we have an issue once we actually try and compile this. And you notice it says scene texture node not supported in feature level ES 3.1. And inside of our material itself, we have our scene texture base color for lighting node. This is where we're going to get the mesh that is below our surface so that way we can see it through our translucency. Unfortunately, the scene texture nodes do not work on mobile, so we have to have a workaround. This is a different version of the translucent water, and we're using the feature level switch, so that way this one material will work properly on both mobile and desktop. Unfortunately, since we can't use scene texture, I wasn't able to maintain the mesh data and coloring under the surface, so I just simply put in a gray color. But we can see here our default, or our shader model 5, is going to be our scene texture base color, and our ES2 and ES 3.1 will be this gray color. You'll notice this material doesn't have an issue, and we turn on Android. We're not going to run into an error because our Android is going to compile without a problem. Once we've come back into our map, we can see this is our normal shader model 5 version. We can see the partial translucency around our inner item, and we can see the bit of the mesh below it. When we turn on Android Preview, we get something similar. We still have a little bit of translucency. However, we don't have those fine details on the bottom. Now, to illustrate what's going on a little bit better, I went back into my material and I changed that coloring when we're under our mobile platform to a solid white. And then going back into our map, you can now see the effect. So keep in mind, whenever you're working with something and you may need to support mobile, rather than using multiple shaders, you could always use the feature level switch, and then you can use our platform stats to determine where any errors might be, so you can adjust it and have one material that works on multiple platforms. We would love to see what you've learned from taking apart this sample project. So go ahead and share with us on your favorite social media using hashtag LearnUnreal.